Hello and welcome back to Stu's Reviews. Today you're going to see me do a little wee. Whee! Now you may be wondering why we're no longer in the studio, and that's because the thing that I'm reviewing requires me to be outside in sunny Wales. So without further ado, today we're going to take a look at this. The SmartMay T5 is one of the cheapest electric scooters available, but that doesn't mean it isn't packed with high quality features. The powerful 250 watt front wheel motor gives you a maximum speed of 23 km per hour, and with a 4400 mAh battery you'll get around 10 km of distance from it. It can be driven under 3 speed settings and can handle heavy loads due to its solid aluminium alloy build. And its headlamp is brighter than a lighthouse. Unlike normal electric scooters, if we come down here, most electric scooters will have the battery in the bottom plate. However, on this, the battery is here inside this front bit, which makes it top heavy or front heavy, which I think is a good thing because all of my weight will be on the back. Now, this is a solid metal build, which I think is really good. It feels like it's going to be very rugged and very strong against knocks and bangs and bumps on any journey. The front and rear wheel are rubber. I'm pretty certain it's just rubber. It could be full of air, but I don't know and haven't got an actual clue. So whether or not I get a puncture, well, that is up to the gods. Coming up here, we have the control area. Now this section here shows us how far we've gone, the speed that we're going, and it also allows us to change the gearing up to a higher speed. We've got a brake on this side, which is just a lever, and we also have an accelerometer there. So that's your gas, essentially, although it's not gas, it's electric. But anyway, if we move down here, the final thing that I draw your attention to, which I think is really cool, is this. It's a tiny little kicker. So it means that you can stand it up anytime you want to show it off, like I'm doing right now. As always, functionality is one of the most important things on Stu's Reviews. So I've come down to this path to test out the scooter and see how well it performs. Now, I'm next to a river, which means there are lots of midges and lots of flies which are going to be trying to eat my eyeballs like I'm something from The Mummy. So I've bought some things to stop that from happening. I've bought my handy welder's goggles and this, my murderer's bandana. Let's get to it. Now, if you think I look like something from either Mad Max or that weird frog thing from the original X-Men films, which we probably shouldn't talk about, you'd be right. Now, I think I'm going quite quickly. It feels quite fast. I am on the fastest speed setting, and on my speedometer it says I'm going about 21 kilometers per hour, which is something like 12 miles per hour, which is pretty quick for a tiny little scooter. Now, I will say it's a bit wet as well, and I don't know if I should be riding this in the rain. Now, I am much fatter than a lot of people that probably will be riding this, and I weigh a lot more as well. I weigh about 93 kilograms, and I think the maximum for this is about 120 kilograms, which means that I'm not going to get the most out of this, I'm afraid. Right, I'm up a hill now, and it doesn't handle hills very well. Ugh. So I've got to give it a helping hand. The good thing with that is I can still apply some gas to help me up the hill. Now going downhill, oh shit, 25 kilometers an hour. This is quite good, really. Now, one of the things I've noticed is the brakes are quite harsh on the front. And if I press the front brake, I will get thrown off the front and probably break my neck, which I don't really want to do. So instead I'm using the back plate, which is another brake. However, my foot keeps on slipping off that, which isn't ideal, and it's making it quite difficult. Another thing that's a bit strange is that the battery, whenever I'm going full speed, it goes down to 1 bar, and then when I stop, it's going to 3 bars. So what does this mean? That it's not going to last very long pulling a fat git like me? Or that the battery's knackered? I don't really know. I think it's just trying to indicate that I'm fat, that it can't pull me very far at all. Despite me looking like an overgrown child riding this, this is indeed taking me back to my childhood. And you know what? This is probably one of the most fun things I've ever reviewed. Whee!
Now we're back in the studio, let's talk about the price. So this e-scooter comes to just £170, which makes it one of the cheapest electric vehicles I've ever seen, ever. Even when you compare it to those rubbish two-wheel neck breaker board things that people were obsessed with a couple of years ago, those go for about 250 quid. This costs just £170, which is really cheap. And if you want to check it out and see for yourself, hit the link in the description below. I'll leave it there for you so you can check it out. Do you know what? This scooter is bloody heavy, but it is one of the best things I really have ever reviewed, and I mean it. It's just fantastic. It's also covered in mud, but I have enjoyed using it ridiculously. It really does take me back to my childhood. And for 170 quid, I love it. Yes, it's got a few setbacks. It won't go too far. It's only got a 10-kilometer range. And that's not the furthest that any of these electric vehicles can go. But it is only 170 quid. Enough said. But anyway, is it designed for smaller people? Probably. I mean, I am 6'8" and I do weigh nearly 100 kilograms, so I'm almost over that payload that it can accept, which probably affects the distance and speed that I can go. Would a kid love this? Absolutely. Would anyone love this? Why not? And that concludes my review of the SmartMaid T5 electric scooter. Guys, if you liked the video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button because it really helps me and it'll help you see more Stu's reviews. And I'll see you soon for another episode.